right, welcome back to the channel, guys. So this is going to be, I think, a really fun little video series that we've been talking about for a few weeks and haven't quite gotten started, but now we want to dive into it with our Pebble Beach edition on the software.
Yep.
Had an idea to basically recreate some of the most famous and iconic shots that have occurred on the PGA Tour, you know, since they started filming golf, essentially. So a lot of the time you'll see replays of, you know, Tiger hit an amazing shot or Jack Nicklaus hit an amazing shot. We'll see these replays over and over and over again, and I think it will be really cool for someone with your depth of knowledge in the equipment and ball flights and how those shots are hit to basically go through the science of how that shot was hit.
Definitely.
So I think a lot of the time people think, you know, that shot was, you know, impossible. How could that shot be hit? What occurred to make that shot hit? And really it's going to come down to, you know, there's a science to it. There's a launch angle, there's a spin rate, there's things that happened that allowed the ball to kind of fly and land the way that it needed to hit that shot.
Definitely, and certainly the equipment at the time of these iconic shots that we can always, you know, go back and picture, you know, these shots are possible because of the equipment in different eras, whether you remember DJ driving, you know, the par 4 at Kapalua last year and almost holing out, you know, like he done that because the equipment allowed him to do that. You know, let's, you know, the ball and head driver has allowed him to get the appropriate launch conditions to do that. So we're going to pick apart these iconic highlight reel shots and do exactly that. We're going to tell you a little bit about how they were able to create the curvature and the shot shape and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, we obviously, with all the equipment we have, you know, we can isolate launch conditions specifically to do that. Yeah,
so we're obviously not necessarily going to have the exact club that the player was playing, but we're going to pick sort of a modern equivalent and recreate the launch conditions and maybe the shaft profiles that they would have used to hit that shot.
And that's exactly what we're going to do,
Yeah, so we're starting with Pebble Beach because obviously it's been a new addition to our software with Foresight. I think the feedback's been great so far. People have been enjoying seeing kind of some testing on a real hole of golf.
We've enjoyed that as well, haven't we?
A lot of fun, I think it's definitely spruced it up a bit for us, I think.
We see the challenges now of rather than just hitting out onto the launch the Foresight range and just getting launch monitor numbers. We're seeing the challenges of, you know, with these different irons and drivers and everything we're testing on different holes. If the launch conditions do stray away from what you're used to seeing or what you like to see, you see the implications, whether that's curvature or distance gains or losses, all that sort of stuff. It's really good to see in actual, you know, real-time environment.
Absolutely. So thinking of Pebble and sort of amazing shots that have been hit, I don't know what I was watching. It must have been on Golf Channel. There was a recent list of like some of the best shots that have been hit within the last 10 years. I guess in terms of the pressure and the actual talent it took to hit the shot. And Tiger's shot at 2010 US Open from under the tree in the fairway, it just kept coming up in sort of these lists. So obviously having just added Pebble, we thought it'd be a perfect one to try to recreate. I just got a new 3-wood, which I wouldn't mind kind of testing out for this little video, which is going to be, you know, very, very good to make that ball flight happen. So for those that aren't familiar with it, we're going to show little snippets of it here and there throughout this video. But he had about 270. I believe it was third round. He was somewhat in contention, especially after he made this. I think he made eagle after this.
That's right, and he was on a bit of a back nine charge.
He was,
You know, he played a bit of an iffy front nine, a few birdies, few bogeys. And I think to this point he was maybe 4 under or so on the back nine when he kind of had this shot, and he had a nice drive, but he caught himself kind of he wasn't directly behind a cypress tree, but he was
impeding him for sure.
It was. He had to kind of work it around the cypress tree, and obviously for Tiger hitting this shot, he had to start it out pretty much over the water and kind of cut it back in. So knowing that, he's adding some spin, losing a little bit of ball speed, you know, there's a real premium. Or he double crosses it and hits a little bit of a snipe, hits it straight into the Pacific, and you know, Stevie's back in the bag for another ball.
Exactly, it's so true. And he's got kind of the dimension of, I think it's one thing to make these guys hit a big fade or a big draw. That's hard enough with pressure and with water, but he had to hit it low first, then fade it. Plus he had to hit the opening in the green that would allow him to sort of chase the ball to the right pin location.
It was incredible.
Ridiculous shot.
And we've seen it for so many times from Tiger over the years. It's kind of like it takes these scenarios for him to really be at his best.
I agree.
You know, you give him a 30-yard wide fairway and a ball on a tee, and sometimes he can miss it by 50 yards. give him a challenge as intricate as this, and he can literally thread the golf ball through the eye of a needle.
That's so true.
Which is just shows obviously the talent level and how engaged he gets when he's got certain challenges like this. So
that's the psychology, I guess, of being focused on something that specific and that demanding.
100%. You paint that picture in your mind, don't you? And you kind of almost let go a little bit of the technical aspects,
sure.
and you let your feel and talent kind of take over. And that's going to be the neat thing about this, because we're going to obviously show it as an incredible piece of feel and shot making, but we're going to dissect it into the actual breakdown of physics of
yes.
how this was able to be achieved.
Exactly.
So hopefully doing this along with other iconic shots over the next weeks and months, we're going to have a lot of fun with this one, and hopefully you guys can see some of the kind of elements that go into make these great shots.
I think so. Well, I think it just brings sort of probably an even greater appreciation for how these things occurred.
Yeah.
Because you're obviously familiar with players that are able to shape the ball, but when you look at their ability to change a launch angle and a spin rate to be so specifically what it needs to be,
for sure.
and then do it with, you only have one chance, and there's thousands of people watching you. I think all those things combined are why shots like this are listed in these kind of top 10 lists of amazing shots.
It's good. No, I mean, this is, like for me, this is exciting because I get a chance to take a look at this and explain to you guys a little bit of the physics of how someone would create low launch, high spin.
Yeah.
And we can talk a little bit about spin loft and spin loft windows, and how the face to path relationships work, and we'll talk a little bit about the equipment Tiger used at this time.
Very cool.
And we'll get into all that stuff. So this is just fun for us as well.
This is gonna be awesome. So let's start with what he would be using at the time. So this is 2010, obviously still with Nike. Would have been using their SQ line of fairway woods.
He was absolutely 3 and 5 wood.
And he pulled 3 wood, as the announcers were mentioning. Now, obviously, from 270, he's capable of hitting it further than 270 with a high draw. But the amount of curvature and kind of the low ball flight, thick ocean air, you're sort of dealing with conditions where the ball doesn't fly its maximum. Probably flew this shot, probably 260 or so?
Yeah, it'd be about 260,
Which for him, and it sounds ridiculous, but it's a short shot. But the ball flight that he produces, he's more or less producing, I guess, not ideal conditions for distance.
So he's putting the effort he would into to hit this about 280, 285, and stripping it back about 25 yards through launch conditions. So he's kind of suboptimal in launch conditions, but he's forced into it because the branches of the tree, the way that the tree kind of grows, he has a window slightly below those branches to shoot it out, and there's a house just left of the green in the distance, and he would have started it out at the house in the distance.
That's where he's aimed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty much on his kind of target line there, and he's going to start at that and obviously shape it around. So
I bet he would have hit 5 wood like a normal high fade, stock high fade, because the ability to, the necessity to launch it so low took so much yardage off. The 5 wood at a normal launch angle and spin rate probably would have flown easily. He can hit his 5 wood 260 easily.
Yeah, for sure.
So it kind of forced his club choice. So we're going to use a 3 wood that's similar in profile to what he would have been using, a little deeper face club than most, a TS3. Shaft wise, he was a Diamana guy.
Diamana blue board. Yep. Used to use about a 90-gram shaft in those
nice
at the time. He was using his whiteboard in the driver, the 73-gram whiteboard, and a 93 in the blue board fairway woods. He just has always loved that blue board profile for the fairway woods, and I think a lot of people have enjoyed that that particular
it's a fraction softer.
It's a fraction softer, but it's an interesting profile as it performs quite differently as it gets heavier. It's much more stable in the high weights, and I've played it myself. I know the changes. I've also tried to play it in a driver because I liked it and had horrible results.
Oh, it was no good.
No good in a driver. I thought it was very, very soft, active. For me in the 60 kind of 5 gram, the 63 it was in the driver, but I'd done really well with the 73X and the 83X and so the heavier weights. So he played this one, and later on he actually played the 103 version of this one.
That's amazing.
Later on he actually tried it in a driver at one point, playing it a little bit shorter when he was struggling a bit, looking for some inspiration with the driver. So We obviously always know with Tiger as well, he's always gravitated to a high spin golf ball.
Yes.
So these types of shots, you know, it's probably worth saying they are a bit easier for him to play.
For sure.
Because he can spin the ball as high as anyone, if not more than everyone.
And he would have been playing the Platinum, Nike One
Yeah,
Platinum,
the Nike One
time,
Platinum
which
at the
was
time.
had to be about I remember everyone saying it was like the spinniest ball you could buy.
Yeah, absolutely. And he, you know, who knows? I mean, you know, the insiders at Nike will know, but
Right.
he may have had a version or an addition for him that he made because he just liked exactly how that ball
Right,
played.
he wanted that one.
You know, different from the guys who play a Titleist ball who aren't necessarily playing this year's version of the Pro V1 or Pro V1X.
Right.
You know, the tour is absolutely full of these guys, and one guy will play, you know, the 2010 edition, one guy will play the 2012
crazy.
edition, and you know, they just find a ball they like, it performs exactly how they want, and then you know they obviously, you know, they try the new ones when they come out, but it doesn't quite give them the same.
Right.
You know, talking to Gary Woodland a little bit, you know, one of the things that happened to him when we were working together, he just changed golf ball and he wasn't spinning the irons nearly as much. So he needed to move to a much softer golf ball to spin the ball a little bit more so that he could take advantage of the distance that he hits it, but also the stopping power that gives him. So these guys are looking for very minute details.
Absolutely. So in order to recreate that, what you're talking about, we're going to use our personal favorite spinny ball, Kirkland.
Kirkland, we know it spins. We know it's the high
Tons of
spin
spin.
ball that we've ever laid our hands on.
And we know that Tiger's kind of custom Bridgestone ball is about as spinny as a ball as you can find.
Absolutely.
So that should be a close comparison.
Yep.
And we're going to try to hit the shot, basically. Try our very best.
So one thing, and you know, many of you will kind of notice this, and you know, one of the first challenges we had when we were chatting about doing this series is that Tiger is playing this shot as a cut.
Yeah, he's hitting a fade left to right.
Matty's going to be playing this shot as a draw,
Yeah.
which is one of the reasons why we've kind of selected the equipment we have. We still believe that we can get pretty close to
The same numbers.
spinning it in the kind of mid to low 4,000s, launching it he's probably going to be launching this about 9 degrees.
Right.
So this is where we can get kind of into the physics. Okay, so to create the launch about 8-9 degrees, the angle of attack has to be significantly downward to create a wide enough spin loft window that you can still spin it that high.
Yeah.
We always know that, you know, we know delivered loft because launch angle comes at about 80% of delivered loft. You know, we start to do those
Math of
equations in our head, and
pretty cool.
we see how all this would have came apart. Now, came to be. He's obviously applying a cut.
Yes.
So he's going to have to add some dynamic loft in order to keep the face
And you see him
right of the path.
You see him in that finish. He really kind of helicopters and holds it off.
Exactly. I mean, in order to, if you're swinging that much to the left, which he has to, with the face open to that path, which will obviously create the curvature he needs, he's going to add a little bit of additional dynamic loft. So angle of attack is really important for him to be able to create the right amount of spin.
Interesting. So we're going to do it this way for this video. We're
Yep.
hoping we get the ability with the software to, I guess, mirror holes in the future.
Yeah, we're
Which
going
will
to
allow
try
us
to
to do
see if
that.
we can do that with foresight and you show the shot where
Exactly as
yeah
it
we
was.
can flip. Obviously, we can flip you around. That's the easy part.
Yeah, that's
with
easy to do.
technology. We want to be able to flip the hole around if we can.
So hopefully this is, we're simulating it as closely as we can for now.
Yeah. No, it's going to be fun.
All right.
Okay.
Should we try it out?
All the best.
Yeah, thank you.
Try and recreate one of Tiger Woods' greatest ever shots.
And the sad part is this was my idea too. Ian, what do you think of this?
I think it's smashing.
You have to hit the shot. I'm sure it's great. Okay, so around 9 degrees of launch angle and around 4,000-ish spin is probably what he hit. Flew at about 260,
Yep.
and the ball kind of chased. Now, we can't move the pin on the software right now, so you have to use your imagination. Pin was back right. So
Pin was back right, and then right now, yeah, we've kind of got it in a similar spot actually.
It's almost exactly the same. So I put it in the same spot he was standing. It's
Yeah.
just the yardage is slightly shorter because of the pin location.
Okay.
So let's get into it. I'm aiming where he aimed. He aimed at that house, didn't he?
He aimed at this house right at the back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing how good foresight, how good a job
Yeah, they
foresight
did a
have
good
done
job, didn't they?
recreating. I mean, we're literally picking the same exact target as Tiger was.
Yeah.
Don't miss any details.
Okay. We need some encouragement after these first few. It's a little heely, so it probably won't curve enough.
Okay.
Start line was good. So there's Tiger's U.S. Open hopes gone.
There is the difficulty, like we said in the sort of intro. And by the way, hell of an effort on the launch conditions.
It was good, right? Yeah.
Just 9.9, 4,400. I mean, you are 2 degrees of closed club face away from
doing it.
From literally dropping the mic and walking off stage.
Next video.
Really, really good. Okay. So, I mean, it did have a small amount of draw spin.
Yeah.
Or which we're recreating fade spin, but really good effort.
My input is, and this is even more talking to how hard the shot is, I hit it a slight bit in the heel, and I guarantee you that's why I didn't draw.
Yeah.
So Tiger could have done whatever percentage, 90% of it right.
The precision that would have went into, I mean, his margin for error, to hit that shot, honestly, was, he may have had a 10% chance of hitting that shot.
And the best player in the world. The best player in the world had a 10% chance.
Maybe.
Yeah.
The most.
It's insane. Yeah, because if he had a toed it half an inch, done.
I know.
He's in that house. Okay.
And one thing we will say, if anyone wants to kind of go on YouTube and look at the clip, he backed off the first go at it.
Yes, we'll put the full link. He stood over that shot from bag with Stevie like 5 minutes almost.
That's right. Really debating, at his point, he's got a good back nine going. He can kind of get something at the front of the green and chip and putt it for a 4. He would back himself to make a 4, but he's trying to make a 3. And he's going, okay, do I play the percentage and go for 5 or 4, or go for 3 or 7?
Exactly. It was 3 or
6.
7, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, good 6. Okay. Attempt number 2. That first one calmed me down a bit because it wasn't too bad. That should turn a bit more. It's just barely skirted those. Okay.
The catch piece.
It's a better attempt. Get in the bunker. Okay, so this is the first challenge that I would identify. And I think a lot of the time when people try to hit these shots, the hero shot, which most people shouldn't try, is you either don't curve it enough or you curve it like off the planet way too much.
Right.
I find that anyway. Like if I'm punching out, if I think I'm going to hook it onto a green, I either end up just like not hooking it at all, or I just snatch it way right.
That's the thing with this particular shot. I mean, if you look at what you want to do, I mean, you're not going to make you're probably not going to make 4 from the right hand side of the green.
No,
like you'll probably make 4 from where you just hit it there. In that left bunker with all the green to play with, you'll back yourself to make a 4. Yeah. If you hit it right hand side of the green, you probably won't make a 4, but you definitely won't make a 6 or 7.
No, true enough.
So, the challenges of whether you play to sort of overdo it or try and really pull off the Hollywood shot, it's difficult.
So I think that needed to be a little lower in launch compared to what we think Tiger probably did.
And it probably would have launched lower had you shut the face a little bit more.
True, yeah. So that was 12 degrees of launch, so not quite what we were looking for. Let's try it again. So that's the overdue that you just talked about.
Yep.
That's getting closer to what needs to happen. So he basically hit that shot, but started it in the correct spot. Because that's 8 degrees of launch. Okay. I think that might be it.
Oh,
come on. Come on. Oh, it is. That's
exactly
pretty close to where he hit it, no?
Might actually be closer.
That's the one. Okay, conditions. Oh, we did good.
Wow.
We did good.
Drop the mic and take a bow.
That's the one, isn't it, though?
That's the one. That's the one. 9 degrees of launch and around 4,000-ish spin, and we don't need to do it anymore. Now, here's the thing.
6-man scramble. I'm the man. Here we go.
How many shots did that take us? You got it on shot 4.
That's not bad.
Really good.
4-man scramble.
Yeah, really, really good effort. Let's kind of replay that one.
Let's get back into that shot.
So you flew at 254. It rolled out about 9, which is, I mean, it's almost
close to what he did.
what happened.
Yeah. So the yardages aren't precisely what he did, but
Look at
that ball flight is very close.
That's so good. Hell of an effort.
That's pretty good.
Hell of an
Pretty happy with
effort.
that.
So we pretty much got it exactly where we kind of thought when we looked at the shot. We thought the launch conditions would be around 9 degrees of launch, around 4,000 spin, exactly like we said at the start of the video, and you've pretty much nailed that, Matty. So, but I mean, it's so challenging, to get one go at it.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
So it's incredible. I mean, that's what, like we said, like it probably is a 1 in 10.
Yeah.
For it to be as good as it was for Tiger, like he could probably get up and around the green.
Oh, for sure.
The other 8 or 9 times, but to hit the shot he hit, to hit the shot you hit is an incredible effort.
Yeah, and he's got what, 15, 20 feet. The way the ball kind of rolled out, I think we simulated it quite well. Sort of a soft-ish bounce, but it did kind of bound forward, and then it sort of filters up to the pin that way. It's pretty cool.
No, it was really, really cool. So what were the challenges for you on the sort of delivery and that sort of thing? What were you facing as the player trying to play it?
I think the hardest thing I would think would be you're aiming that far left into the water.
Yeah.
Plus, you're probably leaning on. I try to lean on a little bit to get the ball
to get the launch to be down
to get
enough,
down, right? And obviously, you don't want to lean the shaft so much that as you said, you don't want to take away all the loft, because then you're hitting a bullet that does not kind of curve and rise up and land soft.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the setup just points you for Tiger just yanking the ball into the ocean, and for me just pushing the crap out of it and flaring into the drink.
I mean, like we said, he was kind of hitting 3-wood, 5-wood distance, which is kind of helpful in that, if it was 10 yards longer,
true,
he might just be on the edge of being able to sort of get it back to the green and with the curvature, and that type of thing. So he may have sort of, in an effort to hit it a bit harder, not being able to curve it quite as much. And there are a lot of things, but
for sure,
incredible shot, and so much fun.
I love his reaction too.
Yeah,
he's just chasing down the fairway after it. He's yelling at it.
You can see that.
The funny thing is, one, he launches it too high, he'll hammer that tree, right? So that's your first issue. Two, if you launch it just a bit too high and spin it a bit low, but you do skirt the tree, he's probably way over the back of the green.
Definitely.
You may not even make a birdie. He literally had, it's not only just the window to hit it through, to hit the perfect window with the perfect flight and spin. Like, it's just ridiculous. That's
the challenge, because you got to hit it obviously low enough to go under the branches with enough launch and spin that it still hits a high enough apex that when it hits the green, you're going to have enough sort of stopping power with little enough spin that you can tilt the spin axis enough to actually curve it quite a lot.
True enough.
There's so many elements that go into that.
Yeah, the spin axis is exactly what you're saying. About
10 degrees tilted.
So,
I mean, all these sorts of things. You've hit an apex there of about 93 feet, I believe. 92 feet, which at a launch angle of less than 9 degrees is an incredible effort, because you've got to get so much ball speed, so much spin, cause your launch is relatively low in order to achieve that. So,
and then you add in the strike variable. Like, the strike had to be perfect, because if that strike is a bit high, you'd smoke it over the back.
Yeah, you would kind of knuckle it forward.
It wouldn't curve.
Absolutely. There's every chance you would just kind of hit it kind of flat, and it just wouldn't have the right trajectory. So
this was fun. It was a good time. I'm glad it didn't take me 100 shots. But it's a lot easier to do indoors with no crowd. Just you.
Well,
I mean, refilm it.
And this is something we're going to sort of hopefully work with the guys at Foresight and get a bunch of these historic shots. From
all the famous courses, right? Over time.
So many great courses that Foresight have got on their software package. That whether facilities like us or if you have home software, you can recreate these shots, or you can simulate these phenomenal golf courses.
Yeah.
So
Oakmont, Carnoustie, all these ones are on the list. So
that's
those,
right.
Those will be ones we'll be looking for.
Marion's always on there. St Andrews is on there. I mean, how good is that going to be?
I was going to say, how many million epic shots have been on that golf course over the years?
Incredible.
It's going to be fun. So I really hope everyone enjoyed this as much as we did. This is fun.
Yeah, no, this is good fun.
A little bit more of a, well, I shouldn't say it's not scientific, because we got into a lot of numbers, but I think it's fun to sort of take things that have actually occurred on tour and sort of get into how they happened.
Yeah.
Just puts a little bit more, I guess, realistic spin on what we're up to.
Definitely, quite
Awesome.
literally.
All right. Yeah, quite literally.
Yeah. Good stuff, guys. Hope you enjoyed this as much as we did. Leave your comments below. Any feedback that you've got. We're all for trying new things on the channel and different ways in which we can give you guys a perspective from our insight and the knowledge that we do have, that we can help you understand some of these some of the things that go on in the game of golf like this. This is just a little bit fun, but it's good.
And comment with shots that you think we try to tackle.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. Some other ones. I mean, we've kind of got we could do how many from Pebble Beach alone.
We're gonna do a bunch from Pebble.
There's so many, but some of these other courses, and like I said, we'll be adding the courses to our Foresight software, so we've got that, so we can show you guys many more iconic shots.
Okay, looking forward to that.
Good, excellent. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. We'll see you again soon.